making the play on the tappets a little bit bigger, because every time I start an engine I want to have them a little bit bigger than usual, because the valves might seat better and then not close, so might be a little bit of extra noise, but after I warm it up and I run it a little bit, I will adjust the tappets with a filler gauge. Now it's time to time the magneto. What I will do, I will put the rear piston to its top, but in the point where both valves are closed, ready for firing up. To be sure you are there. To be sure you are there, both your tappets should be free. So this is the position. I will install the magneto now to its fully retard point. It should make the spark here. Now the wide cam is for the rear cylinder, the narrow cam is for the front cylinder. So I will try to time it for the rear cylinder on the wide cam. Was demounting the coil wire, the condenser wire, and just left this one for the engine stop. I plugged in my measuring device, put it on ohms over here, so we can just check the continuity. So when the pointers are closed, it should show us 0. You see it's changing the value. So when it is 0, the spark plug is closed. When the spark plug opens, we will have a spark, and it will be a 1 on the measuring device. So I set the piston just right a little bit after the maximum top dead center. I will put the magneto on fully retard. It's this position. And now I will check where the spark is. So right now I will turn the magneto this way until I can see a 0 on the measuring 1, sorry, on the measuring device. So easy. It's a 1. Now it's open. I will do that again. Here is where we have the spark. When it turns into 1, when the contacts are opening. My magneto is fully retarded. Now I will tighten it, the flange that keeps it there. And rotate the engine and check it fully retarded also on the front cylinder. now timing the front cylinder. Magneto is in fully retard point, so it should be 1 millimeter after the top dead center, where the pointers will open. This is top dead center and it's open. So I like to have it, most of the people put it in the top dead center. I like to have 1 millimeter after the top dead center so the pedal doesn't kick back. But now I return with the piston and I will put it in fully advanced. And let's see now where it will open. And it is almost open. Now it's open. This is too little. I will measure it now. It's only 7 millimeters. I know Indians should have around between 8 and 10 millimeters advanced, so they run good. So this is a little bit too less advanced. I could make it bigger, the advance, and smaller the point after the top dead center, but that means we would have probably some kickbacks, and I don't like that. I will check also the rear cylinder. Now let's turn the rear cylinder on the compression stroke. See, now it's sucking the gasoline in. Inlet valve is closing, piston is coming up. We put it in fully retard point. And I come up. It went too fast. Top dead center. And it was opening. I have here 2.4, so it's too much over the top dead center. Now let's put it back and put it into the fully advanced position. Here we go. Now this is 5 millimeters. So we can already see there is a difference between maximum advanced point between the rear and the front cylinder. This is not good. It means the cam was not perfectly made. I will check again. But clearly I need to give the Magneto more advance. For that I will untighten the clamp here. And turn it a little bit like this. Let's check again. We are on 0, pointers are closed. Oops, too fast. I like to go a little bit more because the original Indian parts have a little bit of play, and it's good to go more back and then return so the plays are taken out. Oh, it's already open and I didn't even see it. I'll use a hammer to go slowly. Yes, here we are. Let's see how much we have now. We have 5.5 millimeters. It was not fully retarded. I will tighten these nuts a little bit better. Okay, let's check again. Put the piston back and go back up. And now it's one. We have 7.5 millimeters. Now let's check in the same position the front cylinder, so we know if the cam was made right or not. It's taking gasoline in on the front cylinder. Inlet valve is closing, piston is coming up. This is still the fully advanced position. Now we hit it slowly. And it's one. And yes, there is a big difference between when the rear cam opens and when where the front cam opens. This doesn't happen on original distributors. So the cam was not perfectly built. I will see now how I can make this equal. Don't know how they made this or how they thought about it, but it's not running the complete way. And this is when the Magneto is mounted, when it's rotating, probably it will center itself, but I really don't like that this is possible on this Magneto. So I will make a nice sleeve to center both parts so they can never go out of center. Probably that's why I had that big difference between the front and the rear cylinder, because it's allowing to do this. Theoretically, this would guide on something something centered, and this one also, but as you can see, this axle in some cases can have this play. Then the Magneto will have that play. I would never have designed this like this. So I will make a sleeve to keep these two on the same axe. So the Magneto originally came equipped with this flange that can do this, and I didn't like that. So I was making this beautiful sleeve over here that is fitting perfectly, and that will also center this flange. Now the second problem of the engineering of these parts, I tried it in all threads, none of them will let me work out more than this. So I'm thinking neither to drop one of the screws, so I have a longer travel, or there is not much space to machine over here, but I will mount it again with the sleeves, so I see if I still have differences between the front cylinder and rear cylinder, and then decide if I take out one screw. This is my solution. So this Magneto is running correctly on an Indian, so I made this sleeve. I also made this bolt. Originally it had provided 2 normal screws. I was making this bolt, and now we have a way bigger adjustment on the advance and retard. I also had to make this little spacer. It's good I have this stop, the nut with the locker, so I will just tighten it so this is sliding here nicely. Oops, too much. No, this is going really smooth. We'll put also a little bit of oil. With the Magneto in the same position, fully retarded, I blocked it over there, so I'm sure I can see the differences. Normally at a normal engine timing you would just time it on the rear cylinder, but in my experience I learned to check the differences between the front and the rear, and this is a big difference. These are millimeters. Okay, so on the front I have fully retarded between 1.9 and 2.3 millimeters. The measurement also has a little bit of tolerance. That's why you usually do it on a sign on the flywheels, but I'm used like this and I do it like this. But the rear cylinder, as you can see, is more retarded than the front cylinders. So over here we have 2 possibilities. One, we have a 45-degree cam. For Harley, Indian has 42 degree, or the cam was made wrong. As much as I heard, you can make a balance between them and run it like this. They was using 45-degree Magnetos on Indians starting 1910s, so I will try to get somewhere with this cam and try to order a 42-degree one if they have one. If not, I will try to find a place, fire it up. It will work like this, but not as we want to, perfectly. Now I will fully advance the Magneto. It has to be untightened because I tightened it, so I'm sure my measurement is correct. Oh, here we go. Let's see fully advanced how much it will be. You should have 8 to 10 millimeters on the piston measurement. There is a very big difference, bigger when it's advanced, between the cylinders. It's a 5.2 millimeter difference. So fully advanced I have 20.7 on the front cylinder millimeters, on the rear cylinders I have 15.5. Retarded I have between 1.9 and 2.3, and on the front cylinder and on the rear cylinder I have between 3.4 and 4.6, so it's a 2 to 5 millimeter difference on the retard and bigger difference on the advanced. So I guess the cam is 45 degrees, but I will try to find a place where both will run correctly, just so I can start the engine and see how the rods, pistons and everything are running. Obviously I have to make the advance smaller, but now there is a much greater play that I have and adjustment. I like that very much. So to make it smaller now I will just so this is retarded, this is advanced. I will have to rotate the complete plate and adjust how much we want it to get retarded. So I'm measuring now for 3 hours the magneto timing, and it looks like in any measurements I have a big difference between the front and the rear cylinders. So if I time the front with a 7.6 millimeters advance before top dead center, I will have on the rear cylinder 2.4 before dead center. So there is a 5.2 millimeter difference that comes up also in another measurements. Then we have, if I put the retard 2 millimeters after the top dead center, I will have on the rear cylinder 5.2 after the top dead center. So the cam is not matching the engine. So I'm really sure about this. Before telling Christoph his magneto isn't matching the Indian engine, I will just use a stock distributor mounted on this engine and see how it will time with that one. If it times right, it means the cam in this magneto or the complete magneto was built for a different engine, probably Harley, because it's a very small difference. So probably this is for 45 degree engines and Indians are 42 degrees. I really assume somebody had a bad day in Morristown, where the Morris magnetos are made, and just put the 45 degree with 42 degree accessories to fit the Indian. So here we are working 3 hours because of that. let's check how it will work with the OM distributor. I was just checking the OM distributor, and as you can see there is no difference, or maybe a difference because of my measurement. So now I'm 100% sure this Magneto, also when looking at the cam you can see there is a difference, but the cam is not for an Indian. It is not. It has big differences between the front and the rear cylinder, so now I am 100% sure the cam is not right for an Indian. I cannot resist the temptation to hear this baby running, so I will use my old rusty distributor that I have and start it up with this one. For that I will time the distributor correct. What you see here is not correct. The only correct thing is that there are no differences between the front or the rear cylinder, the advance and retard. These are millimeters before top dead center, below. Yes, before top dead center and after the top dead center it should be. I was making a mistake. So where I want to get is to have an advance of maximum 10 millimeters from before top dead center, and the retard I will have probably 7 millimeter after the top dead center, but I will never take it there. You can also make the final adjustment if this ear is too long and the travel of the distributor is too long. You can always do that from your advanced grip, and check the timing, the distributor timing with the throttle advanced grip mounted and cable and everything, because it might vary what you have here from the travel you have from the grip. What I will do now is set the distributor in the right position. I will take another film of that. I will time lapse all the procedure, but I will make also a short movie of how, in my opinion, that the spark should be timed with the engine. So I was mounting the distributor, the original one. The cams are correct on the original one with big play, so this is not a precise ignition part, but still it's opening almost exactly in the same places. I might have also a measurement error, but it's almost there. Comparing to the Magneto, where we have 5.2 millimeters differences and 3.2 on the retard, it is quite bad. So the Magneto will not fit this engine, or will run with it, but not correctly. So I installed the distributor now, and I will go on with mounting the heads and getting closer for the first start.